Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Raw Recap with the Drip King, brought to you by none other than Russell Buddy. We are here. I wish I could say it was another great show because we had two back to back that I was really enjoying, but then we got this show tonight and it just kind of felt like a filler show. I think there was still some good stuff that happened. We'll go over it all, but just a heads up before we go any further with it. That's what it is. It was a filler show. But thank you, babe. Thank you, babe. Thank you very much. You're looking good as well. There was a lot of ladies' action tonight. So that was the one positive we could take from tonight's episode. We got 3 ladies' matches, which is like, that never happened. So that was good. And speaking of the ladies' matches, what up? What up? What up, David? Thank you for joining, bud. That's what they started off with. We got Bayley versus Alexa Bliss to see who's going to challenge Bianca next, right out the gate. Bayley comes out. She's with not toxic attraction. The other 2 members of Damage Control. And Becky Lynch, she makes an appearance. She attacks him, chases him off. And that's it for Becky on the night. I was a little bit shocked. She didn't even cut a promo or nothing. She just chased them girls off. Done data for the night, which means Bayley had to go this match alone. And Bianca decided she wanted to come out and watch it at ringside. So we got Bayley versus Alexa, one-on-one, no funny business. Bianca at ringside. At one point, Bayley goes to slap Alexa, and Alexa ducks, so Bianca has to grab it because she was right there behind it. And then that little distraction was enough. Just enough for Alexa Bliss to, boom, get the win, hit the Twisted Bliss, picks up the victory over Bayley. She's new number 1 contender. What up, Nick? Thank you for joining. And I would just like to say, told you so. So if you're getting your news from somebody else, stop it. I'll let you know what's happening if you can't figure out, this one seemed pretty obvious from the get-go. But for whatever reason, people was thinking somebody else. I don't know what the deal was. And then it even came down to the fact that Bianca went in there to congratulate her. And what Alexa do? She grabbed her. Got the brave flash symbol thing. Alexa grabbed her, went to hit with the Sister Abigail, and then snapped out of it. So she went to attack. Man, I almost called this down to the T. But what do I know? I don't know. Interesting with both Alexa and Bayley working heel style at times. Excellent opening match. Great job by both ladies. Yes, Alexa has hit something because she's showing me stuff in the ring at a more consistent basis than I think she ever has before. I think she missed wrestling and she's here to prove it because she's put on some decent matches for Alexa Bliss lately. And I don't mean that as a knock, but she's been showing out lately. So all the props to her. She's been delivering all the opportunities she's been given. I like Alexa, always have. It's good to see her finally getting another spot, another opportunity to climb the ranks. Alexa's very good. Yes, absolutely. And her character work is one of the absolute best in the company. So there's no reason she shouldn't be getting more opportunities. Maybe she got that one for a very long time. And they're like, oh, we'll take her off for a little bit. But look really good in there. And then a Bray trees. We're running a full motion. Let's hope it doesn't stall. Okay, so I really don't think she's going with Bray. I don't. I know the Bray tease is like telling everybody it's going to happen. I don't think Alexa goes with Bray. I think it's just a bait and switch type thing. Alexa will change. Alexa will turn. I don't think we're getting that fiend Alexa. Whatever it's. I don't think she's going with Bray. I don't. But enough of that. Alexa will now challenge Bianca. Again, she almost attacked her. She snapped out of it. Then she walked away. Bianca was like, yo, what's up with that, girl? But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Bianca will end up winning that match, though. So it ain't a big deal. I hope it happens at Royal Rumble so that I can just really start rubbing it in some faces. It's not Rhea Ripley. Yeah, I really don't think it's happening. No, I think someone else might be possessed by Lily. And I'll get to that a little later, too. Alpha Academy was in the back. Chad Gable was talking about Kurt Angle on when he's being interviewed. He's interrupted by the OC minus Carl Anderson. He's in Japan taking care of a few things because he has a match at Wrestle Kingdom, apparently. So apparently WWE and New Japan have worked out a deal. Carl Anderson will be wrestling over there. Be interesting to see how much more can happen with this. It'll be interesting. Someone pointed out, and I don't know if it's worth noting, but Apparently AJ was wearing some Japanese lettering, and then Becky Lynch came out with a jacket and it was in Japanese, and people were trying to connect dots. I don't know if it's anything WWE kind of just see something and rolls with it every once in a while just to kind of like mess with the fans. This might be that case. I don't know. Very, very early to tell. But yeah, no Carl Anderson. And this whole segment just leads to an AJ Styles versus Chad Gable match. So I ain't even mad. Not even mad because we're getting Chad Gable versus AJ Styles. And that match is up next. And these boys delivered. And as I'm watching Chad Gable week in and week out, because the dude wrestles every single week. For anybody who thinks he's being misused, you're silly. He's on the show every week. He's a very big part of the show every single week because of how good he is. This might sound like a crazy statement to make because he never wins, and that's unfortunate, but that's his role. I think there is a case to be made. I think someone could make this argument, and I would listen to it, that Chad Gable is a top 10 in-ring guy today. That might sound a little crazy, but I'm watching him, and I'm watching him. He is flawless. He truly is flawless. None of his matches are the same. Never. They're never the same. I don't know if it's because I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because he's too good at being an entertaining heel that the people want to see get the shit kicked out of him, and that's why he'll always be kind of stuck in this spot. But man, if they ever had the moment to get him out of it and just kind of give him a little nudge to see where he goes, the dude's in ring work is phenomenal. It's so good, pun intended. I would dare say, yeah, smooth as butter. I would dare say he's a top 10 in ring guy. Not overall, no, definitely not no overall, but in ring, strictly in ring, I would be hard pressed, me personally, to put 10 people over Chad Gable at this point. Go away. But that's the match. Anyway, next up, we go to Dexter and Johnny Gargano. He had you at the Blink 182 shoosh. Yeah, that was funny. I do remember that one. But they go to the back, and Dexter and Johnny, they have a dry erase board, and they've got this whole diorama built, drawn up. And then Candace goes, "What are you guys doing?" They said, "We're trying to find out how to spend all this money." And then Dexter still has the bag of money. And then on that is somebody standing on a moon. And then above it, it says "to the moon." So we'll get to that in a minute too. And it's all just ideas they can come with how to spend this money because they have everything and they don't need things. Candace is like, "You should just be in the holiday spirit of giving." So that Johnny's like, "I got an idea." In the background, Nikki Cross, not ASH anymore. I almost did it. Still stalking Candace, which is weird because it's been 3 weeks now. Still hasn't done anything to her. We'll see. I don't know what's up with that. Next up, we got Judgment Day versus the Street Profits and Akira Tozawa. But before the match, Akira Tozawa and the Street Profits, they had a thing in the back, and they say, "Why did you save Akira?" And they said, "Because he's Akira Tozawa, and that's my ninja." And they do their whole little shtick. Street Profits, high energy, always fun, gets the crowd hype. And then Akira Tozawa takes their moment and says, "We want the smoke." So that was the segment. Akira then chugs whatever's in the cup, cuts it in half, and he's ready. Akira Tozawa was very entertaining throughout the entrance in this segment. He was entertaining. I like Akira Tozawa. And then from there, go to the ring. They have the 6-way match. Nothing special, but it was a good 6-way match that ended up seeing Dom pin Akira Tozawa once again. And that was the match. Damien hit that outsider's. It's an outsider's edge, razor's edge. I don't care what he calls that. That's what I'm gonna call it. From the outside the ropes on the apron to the inside on Akira, it was pretty badass looking. I liked it. And then Dom just covered him 1, 2, 3. In ring, he should be getting his flowers for that. I'd enjoy watching him do a worldwide tour without the shushing. Excuse me, it could be magical. He wouldn't need it other places. WWE, it does help. It's why he's on the show every week. He's entertaining. The shush is just it's what gets him on the show. Tozawa could be WWE's Darby if they choose to see beyond the Dom. Now, Dom, I'll get more on Dom later too because he had a segment that I think is very interesting a little later on and just speaks volumes on how far he has gone with this character work that he's doing. Not his in-ring work, but his character work, which was what I always praised the boy for because he's phenomenal with what he's doing with the character he has now. But after that, Johnny and Dexter, they're coming out to the, they go out to the merch stand, not a concession, the merch stand, and say, we want to buy it. And the guy's like, what do you want to buy? He throws a bunch of money on the table. He goes, everything. So then they just start taking all the merch stuff. Commercial break, come back. They're going out to the thing, and they're just handing out shirts and Lily dolls and hats and all this other nonsense, just giving out to the people with Mrs. Money. As they get over to the thing, you see a cameraman or something dressed in black. He attacks him, takes the bag of money, goes in the ring, reveals himself to be Miz. He's like, I got my money back, and he tries to leave. Adam Pearce says, hold up, take him back the money. Miz is mad, he's pissed. Then they start talking about he needs that money, and then Johnny's like, no, give it back to Dexter. Dexter tried to go get his axe. They stopped him, says, you don't need your axe, we're going to figure this out. Then Miz is like, I might even be crazy enough to want a rematch. And they said, Johnny's like, well, when we do it in a ladder match for 2 bags of money. And then Miz is like, sounds like a good idea. But what do you mean 2 bags of money? And they said, well, if he's putting up his bag of money, you need to put up another bag of money. And Miz is like, I can't. Maurice controls the finances. He's only on an allowance, so he ain't got another bag. And it was funny. And then Johnny just kind of started making fun of him. The tiny balls thing came up again. And then at the end of the day, we are going to get Miz versus Dexter Lumis next week in a ladder for the money bags. Now, earlier I was talking about the dry erase board in which they had the guy on the moon that said to the moon. It's like, that's Cameron Grimes' catchphrase. What's up with that? Oh, I don't know. He's got a lot of money. Who needs money right now? The Miz. Cameron Grimes is going to be on Raw next week, and he's going to be Miz's financier. That if it doesn't happen, I'd be shocked. It's a very simple yet effective way to bring him up. Ciampa's gone. He needs a new little running mate. Cameron Grimes makes perfect sense. I think Cameron Grimes' comedy goes hand in hand with what the Miz does when he's good. When he's bad, it's not. Tonight he was good again, so I'll give him his props for that. And yeah, it's just an effective way to get Cameron Grimes on the show and thrust into something right away. Mike versus Sam, the story that the real Dexter couldn't kill. This story has had its moments. I'm not going to front like it hasn't. It just has taken so long. It's in another gear at this point, so I'm not mad at it. I'll see what's going with it. And if it gets Cameron Grimes on the show, I'm all for it. If it doesn't happen, I just set myself up a disappointment, and we'll have to just wait even longer for Cameron Grimes. I've been waiting for months to see To the Moon on the main roster. Please make it happen. But that was a segment. I thought it was very effective. It was very funny. It was entertaining. There wasn't much to be entertained with on tonight's show. This was one of the moments that was actually entertaining to me. I know that sounds crazy because of how long this shit's been taken and how over Miz I am at most of the time. Tonight at work, though, it was entertaining. And they're still on the ball joke, which is about as funny as pull my finger. To be fair, the crowd started this, and they just played upon it. So the crowd was into it. This wasn't written into it. The crowd was talking about it, and then Johnny was just like, oh, yeah, ball joke. I'll just do it real quick to appease the crowd. That's kind of what you should be doing when you're doing stuff off the cuff. So to that, if they were intentionally still writing a bunch of ball jokes, then yeah, that's stupid, and I wouldn't be praising the segment. It was an entertaining segment. But anyway, commercial break, come back. We get Candice versus Io, and I saw a lot of people that were excited for this match because of what these two girls have done in the past. This was not that. It wasn't that. I'm hoping that they're just saving it because I'm a big believer of you don't give away big things on TV. It should be saved for bigger shows. That way it seems special. It seems more special that way. What's up? Thank you for joining. So the match wasn't nothing terrible. It was number 2 female match of the night. It might have been the worst of the 3, to be fair, but at no point am I mad about it. Io Sky won. She should be because she is one of the best in the world as far as the females go, hands down. So her winning was good. Nice spots. There was the Poison Rana, which I know is a silly ass move, but I just love it. I think it's a cool looking move. It makes no sense, but it's a cool looking move. They botched it. Good match for Io, but something just feels different with Io from I don't think she's holding back. I think she's just not showing out yet because she's supposed to be Bayley's understudy. So if she was going balls to the wall like we're normally seeing her, it's like, yo, why is she even with Bayley? I try to make sense of things. That makes sense to me because we've seen the matches change under Triple H's booking. So it'd be crazy to think Triple H is like, hey, tone it down a little bit, because he likes that kind of wrestling. So I don't think that's the case. I think it's literally just, hey, as long as you're under Bailey, let's keep it down a little bit so it makes more sense. On the big shows, go crazy, go nutso, which is what I applaud. Bigger shows, bigger matches, do that. But again, the match wasn't terrible. Just was not what a lot of people were expecting. Definitely wasn't. EO got the win though. So thank you. Next up, KO is being interviewed, and this is another entertaining segment for the night. Probably the best part of the night, honestly. Kevin Owens being interviewed, and he gets interrupted by Elias. Elias says, hey man, they took out my boy Riddle. You obviously have problems with him too. They took Sammy from you. I have a match with Solo Sikoa next. Tell me you got my back. And Kevin Owens flipped on this boy. He says, are you kidding me? After the months of torture you put me through, why would I help you? And he goes, that was my brother. That wasn't me. He goes, no. Kevin Owens was in top form in this segment. It was so damn good. And it's the reason why everyone loves this man so much and they praise him so high, because right here, he is pure gold. Like, there's no reason this Elias Ezekiel shit should have ever worked. But the fact that Kevin Owens was attached to it is the only reason it worked, because of how well he just makes anything work. So kudos to him. And he just kept it going tonight. So it was funny as shit. He's like, you think I forgot? For months you tortured me. And then he basically was like, no, I'm not going to help you. Everyone put the cap. Hey, and he's dead ass wrong about it. 100. I'll flat out tell people they're wrong in instances like this. I know that everything is subjective. Everything. If you got a problem with Kevin Owens in anything and you're a fan of professional wrestling, you're wrong. There's just certain people that you're wrong about. And if you have a thing against Kevin Owens, you're wrong. But anyway, from there, they go to an Elias concert, and it's in memory of Matt Riddle, because Matt Riddle is now gone for 6 weeks because he got taken out last week. The reasons were released earlier. You can go figure it out for yourself. I don't really care, but he's gone for 6 weeks. So Elias sort of thing, and he says, I got his bongos right down on the table next to him. And then he said, he goes, and I got some lyrics that he wrote. And he pulled out a little piece of paper, and it was all rolled up, looked like a joint. And then he unrolled it, and he sang the song. Elias sang a whole song. I don't remember the last time that ever happened, honestly. Oh, come on. What the internet doing? Sorry, folks. I don't know what the deal is. But anyway, he does this whole thing, and then he goes, and now it's time for the solo. And he starts doing the solo. Out comes Solo Sikoa to interrupt it. The Canadian Steve Austin. 100%. And you saw it tonight. It's funny you say those words, because you literally seen it tonight in this next segment. But it was funny that he said it's time for a solo. He starts doing a solo. Solo Sikoa comes out. Sami Zayn, a dancing fool. Crowd finally comes to life when Sami Zayn comes out. Gee, I wonder why. Because he should be winning the title at Elimination Chamber in front of his home crowd of Montreal. That's why, damn it. That's for another day. Anyway, Solo Sikoa comes out. Him and Elias have themselves a decent little match. Not the best match. I think that's AJ and Chad by a long shot. But it was a good match. In the end, Solo Sikoa obviously wins. This man's going to be protected for a very long time. Afterwards, they start beating up Elias some more. They put him in the corner. They put the chair on his neck. They're about to do the same move again. Out comes Kevin Owens. And you know what Kevin Owens did tonight that I really, 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 really loved? Was his music didn't hit when he came running to the thing, because it doesn't matter if you're out there for urgency and to save someone. Who gives a shit if your music's playing? Don't give them the benefit of knowing you're coming. So Kevin Owens came down, boom, hit a stunner on Solo. Sammy says, peace out, jumped out. That was it. Very accurate. Yes. That another day will not be another. That you can keep saying it, but I'm gonna keep saying he will. I'm not listening to no negativity on him. Not listening to no negativity on. I'm completely sold on the fact that it's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, I'll be heartbroken. And if that's the case, then that's the case. But there's no reason it shouldn't happen at Elimination Chamber. So I'm sticking with it. Nobody can give me a realistic, logical reason why the man should not win at Elimination Chamber. It just can't be done. Just can't be done. But that's neither here nor there. Sammy then walks away with with Solo Sikoa, and he's like, "No, Oos, stay back, stay back." And then Elias, he gets up and he goes to thank Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens turns around and he does the Stone Cold thing, and he gives him a stunner right there in the middle of the ring. He's like, I ain't here to help you. I just don't like them, fool. And boom, that was the segment. Best part of the show, from the Kevin Owens interview with Elias all the way through the match to the end of the match. Best part of the show. AJ and Gable, best match. But as far as segment and storyline wise, this was the best part. It was about a 30-minute from beginning to end. So if you're looking for that one thing you got to watch, this is it. If they want slot slow into Roman, when Roman leaves, I want with that and film. I don't know if it's infinitely more interesting, but it's definitely something that will help Solo be a big deal. And again, I'm 100% for it, just as long as it's done at the right time and it's done the right way. Just kind of doing it just to do it wouldn't be cool. You got to do it the right way. And doing it now would be a shame because the story's not over. You got to let things. But again, I'm all for it. So, but that's another day too. Next up, women's match number 3. I hate that this is a thing we got to celebrate. It should be something we see more often, but it is what it is. Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. Asuka comes out, takes her mask off. There is no face paint. So the kind of tease that she's been doing on Twitter all week is coming. Who's in the ring? That's interesting. You talking about Solo. He grabs your attention in the ring. That's interesting to me because I don't see anything overly special about him. I think he has potential for sure. For sure, he has potential. And he has a look. He has a presence. Everything about him is good. He just isn't there in the ring yet. So it is Solo. Hey, do you, though? I do think that he can be a main eventer for sure. He's just not there yet. But Kana is happening. Yeah. It won't be Kana. It'll just be like a version of it. I don't know. They probably can't do Kana. I would think they can't, but what do I know? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they can. No dancing, no smiling. This won't be full on Kana when it happens, but this change was needed for quite a while now. Let's see where they take it. Even with her dance and stuff, I've always liked Asuka. She brings an energy that nobody can match. Like, it's crazy. Nobody can match. GB Ola, hi to you too, GB. Solo has everything he needs except for his timing in the yeah. See, I think that might be what it is I'm seeing. I'm not big on timing as Nick is, but if it's off, you can clearly see. I can clearly see it, and I see it. So he gets there though. He's a made man, as they say in the mafia or whatever the heck that's such from. But anyway, Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. Asuka, she's all business now. Face paint's gone. Match is the best one that her and Rhea have had. The chemistry seems to finally have come to. We finally got the chemistry between these two. It's taken a long time to get here, but it seemed to be here tonight. They had a great, not a great match. They had a really good match. In the end, Dom ended up on the apron and he got misted by Asuka, which allowed Rhea to hit the riptide and get the pin 1, 2, 3. Asuka lost. She sulked in the ring a little bit afterwards as Rhea helped Dom to the back. What up, David? I'm doing good, man. How are you doing? Thank you for joining me tonight, man. Really appreciate it. But yeah, they're selling the mist. And this is where I'm going to give Dom. Here we go. Before I do this, that I agree with this. It actually does make sense because it pushes her closer to snapping and getting the WWE version of Kana. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry for you. But yeah, 100% I agree with that. The loss needed to happen. It needed to make sense. Losing to Rhea isn't going to hurt her right now because Rhea is, in my opinion, the top dog in the women's division. Yes, even over Bianca, the champion. Rhea Ripley is just that girl right now. But we're going to get there. But back to Dom and the mist in the face, because I don't think I've seen anybody sell the mist in the face more, like to really sell it and put it over more than what Dom did tonight. The only one that even comes close to me is Becky. When Becky came out the next week and she still had it in her hair and she was all just like distraught and everything, she sold it pretty well. Dom sold that miss like, yo, this shit's a big deal. Don't let it happen to you. They were trying to do everything they could in the back to help him to get him to stop. I watched. Yeah, I remember you being there yesterday. I appreciate you being there for that. It was a very good time. It was fun. Win or lose, did great. I won. We won. I don't care if they say we lost. Team Jimmy Bay won. You can go back and watch it. You see Jimmy Bay won. It burns. Brought me back to Linda. Hey, he's selling it though. Everyone else is kind of like, and then they get up and leave. Dom sold it all the way up to the entrance ramp, all the way to the back. Damian Priest coming in and says, hey, it could burn somewhere else, even worse. That shit was funny. But Dom selling it it's a big deal to me because he's doing little things that he wasn't doing before. He's learning some things, whether it's because he's with Finn and Damian, who have toured, like David's always saying, touring the world, that it would make you a better wrestler. Well, he's now with guys who have done that. Maybe that's what's rubbing off on him. I don't know. His in-ring work has gotten slightly better. He's still got a long way to go, but the character work is there. No. But Dom, the character work, and to me, the character work is always more important as far as WWE is concerned than the in-ring stuff. I know this is professional wrestling, and that sounds silly, but that's the case. If you have a great character, a la Hulk Hogan, it doesn't matter how well you wrestle. As long as you are getting the fans to hate you or love you, if you can go just somewhat in the ring, like Dom can, you're going to be good. What happened to Matt Hardy and Luke Harper? Luke's gone. He Brody Lee, he passed away in AEW. But Matt Hardy's in AEW as well, and he shouldn't be. Show them the belt again. It's over there. I'll show the belt at the end. But yeah, that's all I have talked about since yesterday because I won War Games. But anyway, so good match. The kind of things happening. The story helped. The losing tonight helped that progress a little further. Rhea won again. Makes her look good because she should. She's the top girl. Very well done segment. After that, Dolph Ziggler cuts a promo on Austin Theory. Not sure why. I really hate to shit on Dolph Ziggler. I just don't really care about him anymore. The problem you have in today's thing is that because careers are so much longer now because of advances in, working out, how you can treat your body better and diets and medicine and all that. You can last longer. Yeah, and he shouldn't even be on that. Matt is done as a professional wrestler, in my opinion. I got some news for you, Nick. But where was I at? Oh, Dolph Ziggler. He's been around forever. And he was never someone that was like overly interested in the beginning. He was good. He's good. He's been missing something pretty much his entire career, in my opinion. And the fact that he's still there is like, why? It's more character. What though? He just shows up, gets beat. That's his character. He's the guy that gets beat. And that's kind of been what he's been doing his whole career. It's like, I don't know. I'm kind of just over Dolph Ziggler. I couldn't tell you, man. I know they said there might not be, but then again, sources are not very good these days. So it's really hard to tell if they're going to have it at this point. I know you love Dolph Ziggler, and I wouldn't even say he is. At this point, he's a jobber. He is a jobber. He's a really, really talented jobber at this point. I don't know. And he's involved with the top title on Raw. Why? He just like disappears, shows up, disappears. I don't know. I didn't get it. I don't get it, but why is he gatekeeping the top title on Raw? I wish they would. I wish they'd do it like they do the tag titles right now, because I think the tag titles are used perfectly in WWE. they're used perfectly. So get rid of the ones on NXT and just have them spread across the 3 brands, and now give me a trios one and spread it across 3 brands the same way. That's how the divisions should be held. The tag and trios for sure. This is a great comparison, honestly. The Nyla Rose of WWE. That's what Dolph Ziggler's role is. They both have great hair. Yes. But that's spot on. Like it's crazy. But yeah, that's spot on in my opinion. But now it's time for the main event. I've talked about Ziggler way too much. Time for the main event. Bobby Lashley versus Seth Rollins. The winner will be the #1 contender for the United States title. You got Austin Theory in the back, standing there watching TV the correct way. He wasn't like this. He was standing in front of the TV like he's supposed to, holding that title. That was his moment on the show tonight. He wasn't on it as well. So that's interesting, but that's how they booked the show, whatever. Bobby Lashley versus Seth. They had themselves a good match. They have way more chemistry than I ever thought these two would ever have. It's not a match I was ever like, oh man, that would be really good pairing. But they work well together. The styles just mesh really well. Do you think create new tag? You mean, well, we're going to get new ones because they're going to take those two, the Raw and SmackDown ones, and just throw them away and just have one set now, because there's no need to have 2 sets when there's not enough tag teams for each show. One set that goes from show to show. That's how it should be done, if that answers your questions. So that's what I would think. And so last week they teased, and just to touch on this one, not that part. The main event, it was I would say it was good. It was nothing spectacular. I agree. Enough with the ref stuff. Here's the thing with the ref stuff. It made sense in this match because of what happened last week when Bobby Lashley accidentally speared Petey Williams, whatever you want to call him. And then Adam Pearce is like, hey, check yourself. Don't let it happen again. And then Bobby Lashley gets upset with the ref because that plays into it. And Bobby Lashley ends up losing because he went for a spear, missed the first one, went for a spear again, and they got pedigreed in it. And that was how they ended the match. So good. That's how they should have ended it. They did the same stomp spot where he held himself up. It's like, it was cool the first time. Seen it every time. I don't want to do that. And then he got put in the hurt lock, but that's how the ref ended up getting injured and what caused all the nonsense. So Bobby Lashley lost. Seth Rollins is #1 contender. He would take on Austin Theory. I don't know when. We will see. But then Bobby Lashley is pissed. He approaches the ref. Another ref comes in. He had knocking him down. Adam Pearce comes down and says, I warned you, Bobby. Bobby shoved him as he's trying to walk away. So Adam Pearce fires him. And that's how you end the show. So that's the show. Bobby Lashley has been fired by Adam Pearce. So Lashley fired Bobby Lashley. Impact confirmed. Nah, son. Once it attacked, yes, it does. And again, it's crazy that they're carrying around both sets of tag titles, because just get rid of one of them. But it's the way it should be done. Tag titles, just the champions should just go from show to show. They have a feud on Raw, be on Raw until that feud's over, and then bounce back and forth to your next feud. If the next feud's on SmackDown, be on SmackDown until that feud's over. That's how I think it should be done. But what that happened with the WWE Championship, I could not tell you the plan with that, man. I really don't know. There's so many ways this can go. There's so many options they could go with. What they decide to go with, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I just don't know. I know that what I would do is I would just make the ones Roman has one title, and Raw needs another one. So put the Royal Rumble, the winner of the Royal Rumble should be your new Raw champion. Because if the idea is that The Rock and Roman are going to be main eventing WrestleMania, The Rock can't come in and win the Royal Rumble. Can't do it. The fans will fucking get mad. You need a new belt. Cody can win the belt at the Royal Rumble. And then Cody gets this thing. Cody better be he'll be at the Royal Rumble. Don't worry about that. But there you go. Cody just achieved the dream. He came back from the injury. He goes in at #1. He outlasts everybody. He wins the title. Or he don't win the title. He gets screwed. Then he goes on to face whoever the champion is, whoever did actually win it at WrestleMania, and achieve it there. It's easy to do. It's just a matter of, do they have better ideas? Maybe, maybe not. We're just going to have to wait and see. That's how I would do it, though. Because Roman won't be champion at Mania. That's for damn sure. That's nothing I would do either. Briscoes versus Profits, new dream match. Profits versus any of the top tag teams in the world is a dream match, in my opinion, at this point. I feel like they're right there on the cusp of being in that conversation. They just haven't had the time like these other guys have to get there. I think Street Profits are insanely talented, and they could go with literally any of that. They could have a match with FTR, the Bucks. We've seen what they did with the Usos and Money in the Bank. It was. They do the same with all those dudes. Briscoes, Aussie Open. I put them up. Nah, not yet. But Aussie Open is fantastic. 100% fantastic. So put them up. Give me that. And then there's so many the Street Profits could do. But I'm rambling at this point. That's the show. Book the WWE title, like I just said. Sami Zayn better win the Universal title, the Elimination Chamber. Roman versus The Rock at WrestleMania, no title involved. If Rock can't beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, I know one person. Nah, it won't be Braun. It won't be Braun. And I don't think Brock beats Roman, but I don't think the title's involved. Lucha Brothers, I won't say Lucha Brothers because I think Penta is overrated. Very talented man. He needs to fucking sell. Phoenix is that dude, though. I do like Phoenix, but I'm going off topic now, so I'm done with the show. That's the show. I appreciate everybody joining me as always. Man, we had a crowd in here tonight. That was crazy. I wasn't expecting that. It went from 0 to 100 real quick, but yeah, I appreciate everybody, and I will be back next Monday for another Raw recap. Hopefully we get back on track with the great episodes of Raw. We don't get another filler episode like tonight's. It did drag at times. I'm not going to lie. And I will be back on my channel, The Drip King of Wrestling, over at YouTube on Sunday with my main man, Tidy. He wasn't here tonight. He's busy. He's got some stuff going on. But y'all should know Tidy by now. Me and him, we're going to go over our favorite moments from the year of 2022 because I've said this before. I'll say it again. I think 2022 might be one of my favorite years in wrestling, hands down. There's just so much that's happened. And there's so much at our fingertips. It's a fantastic time to be a wrestling fan. So me and Ty are going to have a blast going over the best of 2022 in our eyes. You did not. We will revisit that. For sure. But yes, so check those out. And again, next Monday, I'll be back for the Raw recap. So I will see you there. Check your confirmation. That's all I'll say to that. And now I will say goodbye.